Hockey's greatest duos have arrived, and they're like nothing you've ever seen. And look at this. You get the collectible booklet. Yeah, see? So people, like, if you're a big hockey card collector, this is what you want. Now, we're going to open up another pack of cards from Tim Hortons here for Hockey's greatest duos. And these they can be two icons. Well, they will be two icons. There's rivals, there's teammates, there's family, there's more, and you will be connected like never before.
I'm trying to open this like in a good way because last time I saw Steve like rip it open, I was really worried about his cards.
Okay, yeah, look you got to grab the lip.
Yeah.
Look how beautiful
it is. This time you did it correctly.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah. Show your face.
All right, mine are open, so I'll go first. I got Brady Tkachuk and Matthew Tkachuk.
Interesting.
Well done.
Okay.
That. Oh, they're in the commercial. I know those guys.
I got Jack Eichel and Clayton Keller. Steve, do you know why they are on a card together?
Shoot. We did this last time. They're both on Team USA and also have is it same number?
They are both number 9.
Yeah!
Well done.
Steve. Sorry, Jesse. You have one.
Lastly, Jean Beliveau and Henri Richard.
Oh,
there you go. That's wow.
Stanley Cups on that card.
A lot
of Stanley Cups. Steven, what do you have?
I got Mr. 1499 himself, Mike Modano, with Marty Turco, who has played at the Eric Lindros Celebrity Hockey Classic, and he is a gentleman. Then I got a special card. We're going to save that. We got Matthew Barzal and his teammate who never, ever blows the 3-0 lead, ever. Bo Horvat.
Hey.
Ever. They never do that. And then I got a Rink Rivals card, and I just think it's fitting that the Sharks truther got Logan Couture with his rival, Anze Kopitar, 2 California captains.
I actually really like the cards that I got because today I got the NHL alumni, Paul Coffey, Pittsburgh Penguins.
Oh!
And on the other side, Captain Mario.
Whoa.
Paul Coffey.
That's his nickname, Captain Mario.
The best defenseman to play with the 2 best hockey players of all time. He got to play with Gretzky in the 80s, Lemieux in the 90s. Come on now.
Got to be good to be lucky, lucky to be good.
Also got a Tom Wilson, Scarborough, Ontario native, and TJ Oshie. And the last one, which I love, Family Foundations, Callie Yarncroke and Elias Lindholm. How are they connected?
Oh!
How are they connected?
Oh! No, I know this. How are they connected, Adam?
Cousins and NHL centers Yarncroke and Lindholm battled as Toronto played host to Calgary on March 2nd, 2023. Yarncroke got the last lap in a 2-1 victory.
Yeah.
Cousins.
So I did not know they were cousins. So there you are. Tim Hortons. Each card has 2 players, including NHL legends, retired stars, women superstars, and interconnected special ways that connect them all. And you should collect them all with Tim Hortons' greatest duos right now at Tim Hortons. Go pick up your cards. Let's start the show. Put this in here.
SDP, the Steve Dangle Podcast, with your hosts, Steve Dangle, Adam Wilde, and Jesse Blake. Let's go!
Adam's doing a lot of mumbling during the intro.
You know, when I used to collect hockey cards, I'm becoming an old man. Old men mumble to themselves.
$20.
My mom used to make fun of, my grandfather used to mumble under his breath because he was very set in his ways. And we'd go visit him in Calgary, and of course, interrupting his routine. And he was an old man.
Sure.
And he'd be mumbling in the kitchen about how she didn't want him to watch Law and Order for 3 hours straight, and he'd be like, about Law and Order, and she'd be like, Jim, I can hear you.
That's very old.
He was going deaf.
Did they also have shout arguments while on speakerphone with you?
No, the speakerphone was not.
It's Adam. He called us. He called. I didn't. Why would I call him, Jim? Anyway, sorry.
Jesse, I sent you a tweet that I'd like you to bring up, and this just feels like something that's really important today for hockey fans.
Yes,
because half hockey fans that are in the playoffs are thrilled, and half are heartbroken. None more so than the New York Islanders. And I loved this tweet that was posted. And it's a note at somebody's desk that says, full disclosure, if you ask me about the New York Islanders today, expect a phone call from my attorney. Thank you. Heartbreaking for the New York Islanders.
Yeah. So I know people don't love when you change your pick mid-round.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's unfair. Because holy shit.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. Isles and 7. Well, this is just, you got to lose more than 2
Absolutely.
to get to 7. So they're going to lose again.
We'll get into that a little bit later. But first, Steve wanted to show you the raw footage.
I'm so happy about
The
this.
raw footage of victory puppies. Now,
I'm so proud.
can you explain the background here for your LFR? Because this has to do with Domi and Matthews.
Yeah, so Drew doesn't really do this, but like when the game ends, he's just like, have at it. And he every now and then will offer a suggestion, and it's always great. And this video, he goes, hey, reenact the Matthews goal, the Domi sauce pass to Matthews with Iggy for victory puppies. And Iggy's very well trained, as you will see. This is the unedited victory puppies leading up to, well, you'll just have to see.
Is there sound on it?
Yes, there is.
Okay.
You can talk over it. Sit. See how well trained he is? I'm looking at myself in the monitor, making sure he's in frame, I'm in frame. Treats on the floor. And we're ready to go.
You're really thinking about this hard, Steve.
No, but look at him. Look at him. Victory puppies, Iggy. No, stay there. Iggy, sit. We got to reenact That's how I get him
to
the
sit.
game-winning goal. Domi to Matthews. First try. Let's go. I was so happy.
Who autographed that stick?
Nikita Gusev.
Oh, that's Nikita Gusev autographed stick.
I want to see this. Do you see the spit fly?
Probably.
Yeah, let's
oh,
get-
from
oh,
me?
Look at
Yeah,
this.
you see the spit fly from me.
Iggy spit. Oh, yeah.
Oh, Iggy
Oh, it's
did-
Iggy's
yeah.
spit. I thought it was me.
Oh, wow.
No, this long string. I love that.
That drool's going to be on the
Look
carpet.
at the utter
the next
shock
20 years.
in my face.
I'm
Look
not
at the
watching you.
childlike wonder. Dude, I love my job. That's so... I was buzzing off that the whole rest of the night.
Can we get
How
that-
do you get to sleep after
Can you
that?
keep that frozen there, Jesse? That face that he's just...
what?
There you go. That's excitement right there.
Because I couldn't friggin' believe it.
That was a good catch.
That was a good
Yeah.
catch from me.
Iggy's good.
Steve will be streaming again tomorrow night for the Leafs-Bruins game. I will be streaming tonight for the Canucks game. Thanks to everybody that either tuned in late or just joined. We had people from like all over.
Oh, yeah.
Lots of Canucks fans.
Oh, yeah.
And we celebrated together. It was lots of fun. Dakota Joshua, former Leaf, no longer. Very Vancouver right now.
Yes.
Okay, so I can tell you that there's a bar that is an anti-Leaf bar outside of Vancouver Island, on Vancouver Island, because outside of Vancouver Island, I'm assuming, is the water.
Is it anti-Leaf or is it pro-Oilers?
It's, I don't know, 17-mile house pub.
Okay.
Come watch all 4 Leafs playoff games was their big billboard. And I just want to say, there's going to be at least 5.
Yeah. Also, all the Leafs. We just always have the Leafs thrown in our face. The Toronto media and the Leafs. Hey, you guys are playing Nashville. Yeah. Enough about that. The Leafs, main character, always. You can't live without us, and it's a shame.
Going into game 2 in Boston, if Matthews had not scored, it would have been 8 straight without a goal. But he was at 7 straight, and that was painful enough.
Yes.
And in
7 straight playoff games, 8 straight playoff, or
Playoff.
right, or just goals,
Playoff.
or games. And okay,
that was playoff.
okay,
Yeah.
because he's gone like a while now without. When was 69?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was game... He
6
scored 1 against
80?
Detroit, so that was...
Game 80.
70, 80.
80. Okay,
Yeah. And that's tough when your best player can't score.
He scored the first goal in the 2-1 Game 6 victory against Tampa, and then he never scored against Florida.
That's what they said on the broadcast. They could have been wrong.
Wow.
But long story short, it's an interesting one. First period, McCabe, who's my favorite defenseman on the team,
Dude, like...
takes a dumb penalty that you just can't take.
I mean, I want to go conspiracy theory. When that happens to the Leafs, they never call it. But, I mean...
It was a call.
It's a call.
It's an easy, like, I haven't had a single issue with the refs this series. Not one. They've been fine.
Nope.
They've been exactly what I expected.
Maybe a soft one here or there. The Reeves one was really funny. I guess I'm skipping ahead.
You are. Marchand scores on the power play. And, you're thinking, like, how'd you him? It was Geeky scored on the power play. Marchand was in there.
Yeah.
The Leafs answer back, though. And this is what this game's about. This game is about answering back. Leafs answer back a minute later, actually probably like 10 seconds later.
14.
Matthews off the post on a weird bounce off the stanchion. And Domi puts the rebound home. And I don't know if I've seen a Leaf be that excited to score a goal ever.
No.
Like
maybe
Domi exploded.
No, oh yeah.
Just poof.
But they needed it like oxygen. They needed it so bad, and they needed it in that moment. They don't score on that shift. Who knows how the game goes?
Right. Then later on in the first period, the Leafs, this is at the end of the first period, in the last minute, my favorite time to let in a goal. Sammy doesn't cover the puck, then tries to swipe it over to Liljegren, and he misses it, and then he does it on the second go, and then Liljegren smashes it off the boards. It pops over Edmondson's stick, and then it leads to a kerfuffle. Sammy gets hit in the face with the puck, and then they lose the next face-off, and it goes immediately to the back of the net.
With the best coverage I've ever seen.
Some bad coverage. So
no one can decide who to blame.
Jesse, can you
what's up?
Do you have that on your screen? The coverage?
No, I was looking at Matthews' goal log from the playoffs just to correct you because it was 6 straight games he went because he didn't score, or 5 or 6 straight games because he didn't score against Florida, but he scored in the final game of the Tampa series.
Oh, okay.
And then there's one Boston.
Okay, it was 6. Okay.
Yeah.
Here, I'm sending it to Jesse because I have the screen cap from the LFR. Oh, it failed.
The coverage here,
I'll just pull it up, Steve.
it's not great. Coverage is not great. And
I don't. It's funny. There's like pro hockey players on Twitter like debating who to blame. The jury seems to be Benoit or Marner,
right,
with a secondary assist to Matthew Nyes.
Yeah,
I saw more Nyes than Benoit.
There was a lot of struggle. I mean, defenseman does not necessarily mean in front of the net guy. Like that's not always how it shakes out. But either way, there was a breakdown here, and something real bad that shouldn't have happened. Jesse is getting to that. Yeah, there you go. That was perfect. Oh dear,
it's bad. And you know, this is the kind of coverage that drives Leaf fans crazy. It's the stuff that you go, come on, guys. Like there's 10 seconds or there's 15 seconds left in the period. Can we just make this happen? And I actually squarely put this at the feet of Ilya Samsonov. He should have covered the puck.
Yep.
After he swiped it and missed, just cover it, blow it dead, and not cause, because I think getting hit in the cheek couldn't have felt good with the puck. And then they were all a little bit all over the place.
Yeah, take yourself out of the game. You're hurt. Get out. That's what I was saying on the stream. Like everyone's like, oh, well, he just got great. Get out. You hurt is not better than Joseph Woll. Get out. Like I was so done with him at first intermission. I was like, I don't want to. I have no appetite for seeing another second of this guy in this series. Like I was over it. I was done. And then of course he is friggin' magical, and that was the last goal he allowed. Just Jesse has it.
It's pretty.
You want this. So
you see the puck at the blue line there.
Yeah.
And there are 2 Leafs on, I think that's Pasternak.
Yeah.
And you have Marner high at the top there underneath the body armor sign. You've got, I'm not sure what the 2 defensemen are doing there, but whoever they're supposed to cover.
So that's not the 2. This is Benoit here.
Benoit
that's
high.
That's Nyes who bumps into Benoit here and doesn't allow him to do anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I'm not sure what Marner's doing, because where he's at, you can't cover the net, and it's a dual threat. You can't cover the point either.
Yeah, I really liked Nyes' effort in this game, but this is where you're seeing the downgrade from McMahon to Nyes. I think Nyes has a higher upside. He's obviously much younger than McMahon, but McMahon is just a quicker, better defensive forward than Nyes at this stage in their careers. And then
What's going on?
It's just Pasta completely alone and Marner diving and doing whatever he friggin' can.
So the reason I initially it's like, Marner, he should have been on that guy. And then when you go back and watch and you see some of the coverage there, it should be that this is Marner's guy up here.
Yeah.
Because they come out of the faceoff circle and they're playing man-to-man defense. So somebody should have been, one of these 2 guys, I don't know if it's Benoit or Nyes, it's probably Nyes, should have been on Pasta here. come to the middle. And Marner tries to get back and cover it. But over there, like I don't think that's his responsibility every single time.
It looks visually bad on him. I'll say this. Listen, Marner has, through 2 games, looked awful. He's looked awful. And Leafs Nation is just bludgeoning this guy. Bludgeoning him. And again, you're a star. That's what the money's for. You got to be able to drive your own line. He's not even close. After 40 minutes, the expected goals for percentage for the second line, Tavares, Marner, and Nyes, was 2.9%. I don't think I've ever seen that. That being said, let's pick our spots, eh? Like, let's make sure we're right. Let's make sure it's... Like, what are the odds that the problem here is Marner and not the 2 guys bumping into each other?
I think that's a really good point.
Yeah. That's like after you watch, initially, when you're sitting there watching the game live, you're like, Marner's diving to Pasta and he scores. Like, what the fuck are you doing, Mitch?
No, he's diving because he's making the adjustment to, fuck, no one has Pasta.
Exactly. And then you go back and you sit there and you're like, 2 guys bumped into each other nearly at the blue line. Where are you going?
Yeah.
And Marner's trying to make up for that lack of coverage because his man is up top there and he's like, oh shit, Pasta's coming to the middle. I've got to squeeze down and get him.
Yeah.
So Mitch Marner, I think he had a terrible game last night, but I don't think this play in particular is on him. Everything else he's done in his career is on him.
The most I think you can
wow.
The most I think you can say about Marner here when you really break it down is that he is also not in a good defensive position one way or the other. If that puck goes to the point, he can't cover the point. And
no, so he's moving right now.
I know, but if you go back to your original screen grab, right? He's, as I told you, it's a dual threat. He can't cover what's in front of the net and he can't cover the point.
Yeah, but I don't think in front of the net is his responsibility.
I agree, but he's not close enough to gap up on that defenseman at the blue line.
I understand what Adam's trying to say. He's in like a little bit of a no man's land.
Yeah,
right.
He can't be effective in that positioning, but I'm not blaming him on this play.
Right.
And that's my point, is that I think that there is something off with this player right now, and it might be coming back from injury and not being fully healthy. It might be... it could be a bunch of things. I don't know what it is. One thing that they said...
Sorry, what Jesse just showed was there's one Leaf back. I think it was McCabe. And then he takes off. Mm-hmm. And then Geeky's like, don't mind if I do. And he just goes right to the front of the net.
Yeah. No, I don't put that play on him. I also don't think his positioning's great. I think that's contributing to
even in this shot where he's like super close to the player.
If Pasternak gets the high Bruins defenseman there, what's Marner going to do? He's toast. He'll walk right around him. And so that my point is that I can understand why people are like, he's not in a good position to do anything, because he isn't. But that's not him. It's not on him to get Pasternak.
Here's a question. So that line got caved in first 2 periods of the game. Not sure what it was in the third. Did Keefe have the option to substitute at that whistle? This is right off a faceoff.
Yeah, I think so, because the Leafs covered, right? Oh, they don't have last change, but I guess it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but you decided to shut down the period with this?
I don't think he was looking at their expected goals. I think he looks at John Tavares and goes, that's my best shot at winning a faceoff.
Okay, great.
Matthews is tired. You're not going to put Kampf out there.
What's Nyes doing out there?
I mean, I think he's trying to make that line work. Yeah. And that was really enough in the game where you're like, well, I mean, remember, Tavares scored later on.
Mm-hmm.
They are trying to get Nyes to be better here. He really got exposed kind of for some of his defensive warts in the second half of the season. But then like they started giving him like penalty kill time once McMahon went down. Yeah, it's tough. Thank God they didn't lose this game.
Yeah. Anthony Petrelli did tweet that exact thing. He said, we're odd to put the worst defensive line on the team out there.
I think you nailed it with the face-off thing. Like you put John Tavares out there to win the face-off, and I think that's the long and the short of it. You don't expect this to happen. You expect him to win the face-off. You also this whole thing is only because they messed up the breakout because Samsonov couldn't get the puck on his goalie stick. Like if you simply with 13 seconds left, you simply break out to the neutral zone, and then there'll be 5 seconds left in the period, and you go to intermission. Like this whole thing is avoided.
Yeah.
So that's the real blame of this issue.
Is the frustration too, I think, from Leafs Nation, I think the frustration is that we see this all the time. This is like, okay, so, every shot is a defensive breakdown. We know that.
Yes. Basically.
And that's why sometimes you look at your goal and you're like, I need a save. But I feel like there are defensive breakdowns with the Leafs that are the same. I'm watching the same movie. I've seen this movie. And I see it sometimes in big situations. What I haven't seen is the team not just go, well, it's all over.
You're right.
What they could have done in the second period, and I have seen this happen, and we've all seen it happen, is they come out and they go, well, they feel sorry for themselves, and they kind of, take 5 minutes to get going. That's not what happened.
There's been an adjustment in team attitude. Their systems still lack, or at very least the implementation of them.
They came out and did an extraordinary job, I think, in the second period. Completely changed where this game was going.
I thought for the vast majority of the game, they were the better team.
Yes, no question. And they do get that goal late, and obviously that is the John Tavares goal on the power play from Matthews and Tavares. And
after 2 disallowed goals.
Yes. So, okay, I have to ask, the Nick Robertson almost goal.
Oh!
Which was
Matty!
Crazy save by Olmark. There's no way that you could ever overturn that because you can't conclusively see that his glove's in the net.
You know what's funny? You're thinking of the wrong one.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
So he robbed Robertson point blank. I think that was in the third period. You're thinking of the Yarncroke one.
Oh, yes, I am.
Yeah,
yes.
and
the Yarncroke one is the deep one.
Was it a goal? Yeah, there's a greater than 0% chance that it was. Could you prove it? No. It's
no. Here's the thing. You could prove it if you invested in the technology which exists and is not that expensive.
Right, but they don't have it. And then, like last year, the game, was it 5 against Florida in Toronto?
Mm-hmm.
The Riley one, where we all thought he scored, and honestly, he probably did. But you can't prove it. You can't prove it. So it's no goal. And Bertuzzi wasn't a goal either.
So the expected goals through 2 periods, and Steve mentioned this. I'm just going to read this off for you.
Expected by whom?
Expected by Lindy Ruff, is now a Sabres coach. We'll get to
Wow.
that. Bertuzzi, Matthews, Domi, expected goals 80.8%. Dewar, Comp, Reeves, great line, 48%.
Yeah,
I thought they had a good game. I like the way they're playing.
Yeah.
Robertson, Holmberg, Yarncroke, 76.1%. Nyes, Tavares, Marner, 2.9%. And one thing that
caved in.
So you go into the second period, the second intermission tied, and one thing that drove me nuts on the panel is that they all seem to agree that it's on Sheldon Keefe to get Mitch Marner going. So therefore, what he needs to do is put Mitch Marner in next to Auston Matthews. And I have to ask the question, and I know he's a human being, and I know that tomorrow night when they play, he could be the best player on the ice because he's got that kind of talent.
Mm-hmm.
At what point do you say, sorry, Mitch, I got this line going great. It isn't my job to get you going. It's your job.
Well, and he still does play with Matthews.
He was subbing him in throughout the third period.
Yeah, there was a defensive situation where I was like, okay, Matthews is out there. He should probably be out there with Mitch instead of Domi. Oh, okay, good, he is.
Which makes sense.
But 10.9 mil. I know the coach's job is to get their guys going and get the most out of them. It's one guy. The conversation is so consistently around this one guy. There was another clip going around of the puck is in the corner. Marner's going after it. Charlie McAvoy's going after it. Marner is clearly going to be the first one to it. He does that thing where he steps around McAvoy to try to get position and do a stick lift. Nylander got criticized for this last playoff too. But like it was so poorly executed that you're just like this. I can't use this player. I can't use this player right now. And like I've never seen a player take so much crap after a Leafs playoff win.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen that. Like what was the James Sharman tweet?
It'd be great when they have Nylander and Marner back.
Man, that's
James Sharman,
so
soccer expert.
Yeah,
in there.
No, I saw lots of people make that joke. Like, it's tough. It's tough for the guy right now, and I don't know what to do. Like, it's funny. I've seen some people suggest like using him at center. I'm not convinced he'd be that much worse.
Yeah, but it's something you've never tried.
No, I would also kick
doesn't
the
make-
entire coaching staff down the stairs.
That
if they
doesn't
tried
make
it
much sense.
mid playoffs. But I feel like that ship has sailed, just like it's sailed with Nylander. I don't know what to do. I don't know what.
I think you have to leave it in the hands of the player themselves.
Yep.
I mean, this does have. Listen, nobody's disputing Marner's world-beating talent. I think the reason that people are so hard on him is because it's not even because of the money.
Well,
It's a little because of the money. I think it's more because of the talent. I think everybody's seen him play great, and we know what it looks like, and we want that, and we need that now. We don't need that in game 62. We need it now.
I'm going to be honest. If Mitch Marner made $3 million, I'd be fine with his play. I'd be like, that's a great penalty killer.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
If he was making Calle Yarncroke's salary,
Yeah.
you'd be like, oh, yeah,
That's a great guy for the value.
plug and play. Did you see he also has like 90 points? That's crazy. Like, you know what clip I'm fascinated with, and we have not analyzed enough, is that behind the bees thing, where it was during the regular season. Jake McCabe cross-checks Marchand in the throat, and Marchand is beside himself, indignant, yelling, angry at Mitch Marner.
Why is Mitch taking strays for that?
He's screaming at Mitch, and he goes, "You're going to get it. You're going to get it. I'm coming for you. You're going to get it. You're going to get it."
Oh, because
bullies know who to pick on.
Oh, I see.
Bullies know who to pick on. What's he going to do? Go at Jake McCabe?
No, never.
He'll eat him whole. What's he going to do? Who's he going to go after? Auston Matthews? They'll kill you. Someone will grab you and snatch the soul out of your corpse.
It'll be like the end of. It'll be like Johnny Cage losing in what is it?
Mortal Kombat?
Mortal Kombat 2 when he dies right at the beginning.
Oh, spoilers, man.
Sorry,
Come on, that just came out.
that was a sad day.
It was. No, but this is what I'm talking about. Marchand and I think other guys have identified their easy target. And, Matthews has Domi and Bertuzzi who go nuts anytime anyone goes near him. And that's great. Almost feels like Mitch needs that.
That's a good point.
Almost feel. You know how Domi grabbed a rookie on the Devils and just beat the brakes off him. Holy shit, nearly took his head off if that uppercut connects. And everyone was like, yeah, don't touch Matthews. Matthews is a big boy. Like, I don't want anyone touching him either, but like, he can handle himself. It's too late because it's the playoffs, but if game 3 or 4 gets out of hand and someone's giving Mitch a hard time, get yourself kicked out of the game.
Like one of
I don't give a shit what you do. I don't give a shit what you do as long as they understand.
Mm-hmm. Because you got to give this player room.
Speak to the Boston Bruins in the oldest language, is what I'm saying. Because this kid can't do it for himself. So you got to speak up for him in the oldest language there is in humanity. It's the playoffs. It's what they would do. It's what they've done every single time. They've always understood the oldest language.
I also don't think that they've got the time to learn ancient Mesopotamian. It's brutal. Like it's a really.
Is that the oldest language?
Well, that's one of them. One of them. I don't know if that's the most.
Mitch Marner, the worst expected goals through the 2 games of any forward on the team.
Like, that's shocking.
He's behind guys like Holmberg and Reeves and Nyes and Yarncroke. All of them greater expected goals.
Nyes is a big boy. Can he do that?
Well, he suffered a concussion last playoff. I mean, he can. He got into a fight, didn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
This season. I mean, I look at him as a guy who one day he's just going to be like, oh, I'm fucking huge. Like, sometimes we forget he played in college and they don't do that there.
Right.
McMahon will go you. And again, there's just that little something that McMahon has that Nyes doesn't have yet. Like, I see McMahon as exactly the sort of player Nyes could be next year or the year after. Mm-hmm. And then sky's the limit because Nyes can do things with his hands that McMahon can't. But someone's got to stick up for this guy. He won't do it for himself. And sticking up for him does not mean, play him with Auston Matthews. We've seen it. You're taking away from a strength to address a weakness.
And a real strength. That line is unbelievable.
Fans don't have an appetite for it anymore. The coaching staff clearly doesn't have an appetite for it anymore. Figure it out. You have to.
What do you think Mitch needs to do? And obviously, we don't know.
Learn to fight.
Well, other than learn to fight, what do you think, guys? Like, what do you think he can do to put himself in a position to get this? It's a bit of a cold streak, bit of a monkey off his back. I don't think he would love his performance against Detroit or Tampa or Florida, even those are games 80, 81, and 82. He's had history in the past with Matthews being a spectacular 1-2 duo, but in the playoffs, the reason you split them up is because you can neutralize one line. You can neutralize one line.
He looks joyless right now. Like it's not about being lazy. He doesn't look like he's having fun. He hasn't looked like he's had fun for a long time. And, there are sometimes, like even in a goal celebration where, you ever see it in someone when they're faking it? They're being fake happy right now. Like when he was being a tough guy in Matthew Tkachuk's face at the end of Game 4 last year. Marner was spectacular in that game. He had a goal and an assist in a 2-1 win. Mm-hmm. And Tkachuk is punching him after the whistle. He got suspended for that. I'm kidding. You're allowed to do that in the NHL. And Marner just goes like, yeah, in his face because, I don't know, he doesn't really have experience responding to that type of behavior.
Right.
So I don't know. I don't have the answer. The people closest to him, his teammates, they know way better than me. I don't know. Hopefully winning. Mm-hmm. You get to win. Series is tied. You're coming home. What's not to feel good about? That building, loves you. When you put up the points, they love you. You score first. Leafs go up first. Get a nice big Game 3 win. I don't know, but you can't only feel good about yourself when you're winning. And he doesn't even look like he's feeling good about himself when they do. So I don't know what to do there.
It was a big third period for the Leafs. Matthews was split from Domi a couple times, split from Bertuzzi a couple times, so Marner could take some spots. Obviously the Matthews Domi goal is pretty spectacular. Basically like a football pass, like a lob, and Matthews catches it with his hand, gets past the defenseman, and works his way around Linus Ullmark, who's a fantastic goaltender.
It was McAvoy.
Yeah.
McAvoy!
Well, because it's Lindholm McAvoy, and they've been stapled to Matthews the entire time. They've line matched them.
And he had 3 points.
And he had 3 points. And so, and his numbers actually just are crazy throughout the game. I wanted to know from that goal perspective, like where does that rank in Matthews? I'll call it the Matthews era, but like where does that rank in terms of playoff goals?
Oh,
playoff goals is one.
It's probably one.
Yeah. In terms of goals overall, he's had bigger goals, I think. He's had bigger games in terms of like he's had 4-goal games and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, like he's looked more dominant, but damn.
But playoff goal, there's not been a bigger playoff goal he scored. He hasn't had an OT winner.
No, I'm trying to think.
He hasn't.
So he got the game winner, Game 3, 2018 against the Bruins, but he scored that on the power play in the second period. He scored the first goal in Game 6 last year against Tampa. Oh, wait. Yes, he does have an OT winner.
Which one?
You know why you forget? Bubble. Columbus in that crazy comeback.
The one where they were down like 3 goals in a minute and they all came back. He scored the OT winner in that game.
Matthews has one overtime winner in the playoffs, and no one was in the building to see it.
I was looking through. I'm pulling up his game log right now, and I'm just looking at game-winning goals. He has one, that Columbus one. Well done, Steve. He has one against Montreal. That would be Game 2 Montreal. He had a one goal.
But the Leafs won that one 5-1.
1 goal, 2 assists, and he had the game-winning goal in that game. And then Tampa game Tampa in 2022. He had a game winner.
Which game?
That would have been 1, 2. They played Tampa so many times. I was trying to count it off. That's Game 4.
Game 4.
1, 2, 3. No, game 5. Sorry. Game 5.
It's really hard to look at that.
I can't remember
It's
that
so
one.
hard.
Yeah, I highlighted it there. So game 5, he had a game winner, and then I think.
Oh, wait a sec. No. The building lost their minds for that one. That was a nice give and go with him and Marner.
The 2022 one,
Yeah,
game 5,
that was
Tampa. Yeah,
They got one. Tampa tied it, and then Auston and Mitch went ballistic, and they scored, and the Leafs shut it down after that. I remember that.
Oh, and then the Leafs never went on to win another game in the series. Awesome.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good.
They
Love
lost
that.
in 7. Yeah,
Love
lost
that.
2 straight. Yeah, that was awesome. I think Matthews. I think this is the best goal, unless I guess Columbus, and then this one.
Well, the Columbus one was just like a power play one-timer. This is the nastiest one.
It's the nastiest one, but that one saved the season technically. So I'll give it. If we're doing the official rankings, I'm ranking Columbus, then last night.
Nah.
You're putting this one over. That's recency bias, but whatever.
Okay, the bubble only counts if you won. Like, so I'm not taking anything away from Tampa, but when the Leafs lost, I'm like, nah, it doesn't count.
Stop.
No, it doesn't count.
Oh my god.
No, the math
That's
checks
ridiculous.
out. No, the math works.
Matthews had 3 points last night. Domi has 3 points throughout the series. The one thing I wanted to hit is later on in the game, you have what?
Domi has 3 points.
2 points, I said.
Oh, 2 points.
Goal and an assist. Later on in the game, you have a little bit of a scrum, and Bush and I forget, doesn't matter, got into it, and they're both going off. And then Bertuzzi comes
Boyle, I
in
think.
and smacks Marchand across the back of the legs. Now, that would sting, but we've seen Brad Marchand take way more abuse than that, and he dove like it was the Olympics this summer.
So there's a clip going around, and people have said that Marchand grabbed the wrong leg. I don't think so. I don't think that's true. I thought
it was a dive. I don't need to go any deeper than that.
No, he whacked him on the leg 100%, but no, he dove.
And that he sold the call, and Bertuzzi went to the penalty box. But here's the great thing: the Leafs actually had a great penalty kill.
Maddie, if you want to just pull this
Finally.
up so I can dispel any he grabbed the wrong leg things.
Okay.
There is the stick on the outside of the leg. Here is him grabbing the outside of that leg.
Yeah, he
He
didn't
grabbed the right
wrong
leg. Like people misinformation on Twitter all the time.
He grabbed the left leg.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey.
I can see though, because
Whoa.
the stick kind of disappears into the
Yeah.
pads. I can see why.
The black on black, people are trying to confuse you and make fun of Marchand, but you make fun of him for diving. Like he did that thing.
And you know what? The thing is that in previous years, what I thought was different about this is it made him look intelligent, right? It made him look like, well, there's the guy that gets under my skin and he draws a penalty and he's such a rat and it works.
Oh, he's a massive cheater.
But
Like a
what I
massive
saw
cheater.
here was it just made him look a bit weak.
He got
It was
a
little-
power play.
He got a power play, but it
did.
just was weak.
Marchand did
If
the
they
thing.
score, that's not weak. That's you're playing the game.
Marchand did the thing that the Leafs have claimed to have been doing for the last 6 years.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh no, our weapon is our power play. No power plays arrive, and when they do, you don't score. Well, nevertheless.
Everybody should be clowning Marchand for eternity for this nonsense. Like that's not how you're supposed to play the sport at all.
It just doesn't make the Bruins look tough, is my point.
But if they score on the power play, it works.
But game 2's in the rearview mirror now.
Mm-hmm.
They start to tighten it up a little bit. These calls
Oh yeah,
are going
The refs.
away. They're going away. They'll still hang around game 3. They'll be around game 4. Game 5, 6, 7. They tighten that shit right up.
I hated them calling the cross check on McCabe. I think that's a cross check that happens in the back a million times a game. That's not called after the whistle.
Yep.
Where were these
I think that
refs
was
in the
ridiculous.
Montreal-Toronto series?
What's that?
Where were these refs in the Montreal-Toronto series?
Yeah.
For which one?
For
Edmondson
every cross
and
check
Weber,
under the fucking
Sherratt. Yeah.
On the Leafs. Yeah.
You can't call them all, Steve.
Right.
Oh my God.
You see that happen all the time. Guys cross-check other guys. No reason McCabe should have been called for this. And no reason Tyler Bertuzzi should have been called for this either.
You think so?
Yeah, no.
I'm of the opinion that just because it doesn't ever get called doesn't mean it's not a penalty. But again, we have this conversation every fucking time. If this is the standard going forward,
Yep.
it never is.
That's
It
what-
never, ever, ever,
That's
ever
what I'm
is.
saying.
Yeah.
If the standard is every ticky-tack infraction is getting called. We saw with the Domi thing in game 1 where he hit him on the wrist. That got called. The McCabe cross-check, that's getting called. You better keep it up. You better have every single time they commit an actual infraction, which it is, which they don't usually call, then call it the whole series, but they're not going to.
This is a fascinating series in terms of physicality because the Bruins are laying bigger hits. I think the Leafs are laying bigger punishment, if that makes sense.
That I wanted to talk about that because I think the Leafs forecheck has really, they keep pounding the Boston defense.
We need, if the second line gets going even a bit, the Bruins are dead. Because Tavares, I couldn't believe his numbers when I saw them, is an animal out there. He's in a board battle every 5 seconds and he wins it very, very, very often. That exchange with him and Pasta, holy shit, how don't you love that? Pasta puts him right on his ass. Tavares gets up, wins a board battle, puts him on his ass. Holy shit! That was awesome! It was so good, but like I'm talking after the whistle stuff, it's almost like the Leafs finally, for the first time in over half a decade, went on the team VCR and started watching their own footage. And started watching the outcome of... I hate when coaches go, you know what? We're burning the tape. We're not going to watch it. That's a one-off loss. We're not watching it. I want the Leafs to pry their eyes open and watch Game 7 from 2019 against the Bruins. I want them to... I watched it, so do you. I watched it, so you have to as well. This is what they do. And now the Leafs have started to strangely excel in beating the dog shit out of opponents whenever. One of these days, sometimes I imagine a scenario where it's like 25 years from now, and I'm thinking about shutting it down, and people find old clips of the podcast, and they go, wow. So he's always been like this. Like he's always been a caveman. And people are gonna look at us like we're the old school hockey guys. Back when men were men. Which is something that I can't wrap my head around. But hockey, more than any other sport, there's just all these unwritten rules, which are not rules, by the way. That's how rules work, is you write them down and then they are. But unwritten rules are just shit that you can enforce whenever the hell you want. Mm-hmm. Hockey is the only sport where you're legally allowed to beat the shit out of your opponent it's because you feel like it. Yeah. And you won't get called, except for the sometimes when you do. Mm-hmm. And when you do get called, there's no argument against it other than, but what about the other times you didn't call it? Mm-hmm. But as long as the rules are the way they are, throw a punch.
I'd like to go back to the Marchand Bertuzzi thing, though, because that continued after the game. After the game, there was like a quick 5-second shot of Bertuzzi and Marchand yelling at each other. And it's such a juxtaposition from the first, game 8, game 10 of the season, where Marchand was getting one over on the Leafs bench and Bertuzzi's on the bench laughing. And that was to see the two of them going at it, knowing how much Bertuzzi liked being a Bruin and how much Bertuzzi is now a Leaf.
Dude, it's what movie is it? I feel like it's one of the Batmans. It's just me going to Tyler Bertuzzi and just saying, I never said thank you. And him turning around and going, and you'll never have to. That was his apology.
Yeah.
And he didn't need to.
Mm-hmm. I think
apology accepted, Tyler. Fuck yeah.
Early in the season, buddy. As much as they downplayed the Bertuzzi stuff publicly, I think he got a talking to from the guys. I think he understood it was a mistake to laugh on the bench, and he heard the media and the fans be like, that's unacceptable. And from there, it seems like he's truly become a Leaf, and it's good to see.
There were two seminal moments from really shitty games this season. That one and Riley. Friggin' cross-checking Ridley Gregg in the head. And the Leafs winning 5 straight after it or whatever it was. It's not necessarily, cross-checked him in the head and that turned their whole season around. I think what it more was is, hey, that never happens if we don't lose to the friggin' Sens.
If your net's not empty, they can't score an empty net goal.
Yes, exactly. I think lessons were learned.
Of all the defensemen on the ice, Ilya Lyubushkin played the least. He played 14 minutes and 14 seconds.
Really?
Edmondson, McCabe, and Riley all over 20 minutes. Liljegren was just under at 19:31, and Benoit at 17:36. Are we setting up for a return of TJ Brody, do you think?
Well, the all the game score and expected goals and all that, Lyubushkin was the number one defenseman.
Oh.
So maybe what they've done is figured out deployment.
Yeah, they've isolated his time on ice.
Yeah, no, they deployed him well, and I know Edmondson's numbers weren't very good, which I was a little surprised by because I actually really liked his presence out there. It was calm. But maybe part of the reason it wasn't so great, his numbers, is it was a really tight game, and the Leafs had the lead for a decent chunk of the third period, and they threw him out there because they trusted him.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably why.
Interesting. Auston Matthews had played 22:08. Mike Babcock could never.
No.
He'd be limited to along with Mitch Marner and I'm looking at the Auston, Mitch, and Tyler Bertuzzi led the team forwards. So Auston played 22, Mitch played 20, and Bertuzzi played right around 18.
It's so hard for me to wrap my head around Matthews and Marner playing almost the same amount and having their minutes go so differently.
I think with Marner though, it's penalty kill, right?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, he's out there for a lot more of the time.
And he's useful on the penalty kill. I think that's the one part of his game where I'm like, I still feel good about this.
He's one of the best penalty killers, I think, in the National Hockey League. Like, he's still exceptional at that.
Yep.
It's just 5-on-5 offensively, you lose them.
Yeah.
And sometimes defensively as well, 5-on-5. With the Lyubushkin thing, at all situations, I believe, no defenseman had less defensive zone starts than Ilya Lyubushkin.
Okay, so they're very clearly using him to keep the puck in the zone.
Yeah.
And once it comes in the
But it
defensive
works.
zone, you're out.
It works.
Yeah. They've got the depth to cover for it.
Mm-hmm.
What
They
if
didn't
he was
have
just-
that.
What if he was just playing too much? That is the coaching staff making a big adjustment and having it work wonderfully.
This is not like him playing 14 minutes isn't like when we talk about deployment. I think you guys make a really, really good point. I always go back to Chicago when they had Duncan Keith at his height, and I think it was the 15 run.
Yeah,
and
15.
and Kimmo Timonen, who was just almost unplayable, was playing 4 minutes.
Dude, they had 3 defensemen.
They did. And it was Seabrook, Keith, and
I don't remember if it was
Hjalmarsson.
Duya or
Hjalmarsson.
Hjalmarsson. Yeah, but one of them got hurt though.
Oh, right.
So it was like 3 guys.
And that's what they deployed.
Yeah.
And so like Lyubushkin playing 14 minutes is still significant. If he was playing Kimmo Timonen or even earlier this year, Max Lajoie,
Right.
5-minute nights, yeah, he's probably coming out.
Then what's the point? But 14 is still that's great.
Yeah, and when Keith's out there and they got to set up in the defensive zone, they don't put Lyubushkin out there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because they know what they got.
If you dominate your 14 minutes, I think the dominating part is more important than the 14.
Exactly.
I want to talk about 2 more things that are really leafy. First one, Samsonov, bad first period, not great.
Bloody brilliant the rest of the way.
Bloody brilliant the rest of the way.
Even on the Pasternak goal, like the whole defensive breakdown, everything that happened before him, the shot went into his chest.
It went through him.
Pasta shot that to the middle of the net.
I was pissed.
And if you don't over push, like he loves to do every single time, his spectacular save, he talked about it in the post game. He's like, I just pushed as hard as I could.
Yeah.
I can't do the accent, so I'm not going to try. But that's how he described making the save. And in that situation with the Pasta one timer, he pushed as hard as he could, and the puck went right through the other side of him.
His knees on the first goal are pointed at least 90 degrees away from the puck.
He's like, I gotta get over there
From the
He
puck
just
carrier.
zoomed.
It's terrible. So that first period did not inspire confidence. Brilliant the rest of the way.
I thought Kelly Rudy's analysis of the shot to the face was also interesting because he called it the new style of goaltending where you're always down low, you're always kind of in the butterfly, and in those situations, pucks that go up high when you're against the post hit you in the mask.
Was Kelly pro goalie on that?
Adam,
I think his analysis.
he's a very nice man.
I think his analysis of goaltending is always spot on.
It is.
And describing it that way, I'm like, there's little things with Samsonov's positioning where it's like he'll never be otherworldly. Like we'll never have the number one of the top 5 goaltenders in the league, but he can definitely hold fort and for most of the game and get you wins and hopefully get you a couple rounds of wins. But he'll never be like that guy.
No, but he can do crazy shit.
He can do crazy shit, which is fun, and that can save you a game or two. Yeah.
And when he is at his best, he plays great. You don't. You sometimes don't know what's coming, but I felt like those 2 periods really, I feel like solidified, and we'll find out tomorrow night, him in that spot and feeling good. And of course, the crowd's going to be behind him tomorrow night.
Tavares got the series winner against Tampa. Samsonov was the only reason that game was in overtime.
There you go. I wanted to talk about one more thing too, and this happened pregame, which is William Nylander taking not taking warm-ups, but being on with the extra skaters and doing drills, but not being a part of line rushes. And TSN's Jeff O'Neill went in on him and said, why are you doing this? If you can't play, why are you getting dressed? Because that's a very hockey player thing, which is like, why are you even practicing if you can't? If you're so hurt, you shouldn't even be doing that. Mm-hmm. If you're good enough to participate in practice, then you should be playing in the playoffs. That's his opinion. Oftentimes, and Steve made a really good point on the stream last night, oftentimes members of the media will say stuff when they know stuff, but they can't say what they know. So they'll say something that hints at what they know.
Well, here, I'll give you a behind-the-scenes story. I probably shouldn't tell this, but I don't give a shit. When I worked at Leafs TV and I did the highlights, we got the backhaul feed, which means the broadcasters, everything they're saying behind the scenes, we can hear. And there were some people who understood that, and there were other people who did not give a shit that other people were listening to them. And there was a game. It was like a nothing regular season game. I think the Leafs goalies were, I want to say, Jaguar and Gustafsson. Mm-hmm. I can't remember. Ron Wilson announced one starter. The other starter was the starter, or the other goalie was the starter. So he lied. He said this guy's going to be the starter, and he pulled the rug, and it was a strategic decision. He lied to trick the other team. Pierre Maguire loses his mind on the backhaul feed. He thinks he's so fucking smart, and he was not happy about it. And I'm sitting there, I'm like years later, I'm like, but you were an NHL coach. Why don't you appreciate gamesmanship from another coach? Mm-hmm. Right? So Jeff O'Neill in that situation, and I love O-Dog, but I think he was thinking too much like a broadcaster and not enough like a former player. Like, it's frustrating as a broadcaster having no idea what's going on with Nylander. Totally agree. It's annoying. And as a fan, it's annoying. It's annoying. It's annoying and confusing. As a former player, why is he practicing? He's trying to play. Like, I know he didn't, but like he might have. And like it screws the Bruins up. They don't know what's going on, but I don't think it was the Leafs playing possum. I think it was Willie getting out there and, all right, let's see how I feel today. Maybe I'll play tonight. And at the end of practice, he decides, all right, I'm not going to go.
Yeah, no, I felt the exact same way. I thought those comments I don't know where they come from. Like, what's the underlying opinion? Your theory that he's thinking like a broadcaster makes so much sense. You know, it's like he wants to see Willie out there. He wants to say, okay, if you're good enough to go, you should go and all that stuff. And he wants the information. And the way it's set up is they don't have to tell you. And the Leafs aren't telling anybody. And they're confusing the Bruins by having him look like maybe he could go. Yeah. You know, and if they did what Jeff said to do and you send him back to Toronto, then there's no gamesmanship there. Then the Bruins know he can't play. He's not in the country. He can't play. At least here, there's like, oh, what do we got to plan for? Could Willie be out there? You know, so I don't mind this at all.
I trust the Leaf sports science team. Now, you know, staying in hotels, traveling on a plane with who knows what injury, I'm sure isn't comfortable, but the team is obviously comfortable with it. And I don't think they would have brought him unless they thought he might have played.
Yeah, if he's out there just stretching out and seeing what he can do, what's wrong with that?
I don't.
Why must he do that in private?
Well, and it's weird that like I've seen photos of Jeff O'Neill from the Stanley Cup final looking like a raccoon with his 2 black eyes and like Lord knows what other injuries he had, right? Yeah. And guys he's played with. I was surprised that a former player, especially one who played in such a tough and brutal era, had that opinion on this.
We don't know what he has, so we can't judge could he play through it? We don't know what it is. We're not the Leafs doctors.
I've heard people say what Nylander is. I've heard several people say what Nylander's injury is with conviction, and they've 3 different injuries.
There you go.
Which means at least 2 of you are wrong.
Right. And they believe they're right.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I hear that all the time. Oh, it's definitely this. And you go to the next guy. No, it's definitely this. Something completely different.
And who knows if like Jeff heard something. He's like, oh, you could play through that. And that's not the right injury. Like, who knows?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not thrilled Nylander's out of the lineup, but when he was skating yesterday, I'm like, hey, maybe he'll go. And maybe he'll go.
He looked, because you can just film practice and post it on Twitter. He looked really stiff. During the stuff.
And by the way, look at his stats leading into the playoffs. Whatever happened feels like it happened before game 81 or whatever they say it is. Like he was ice cold.
So this player, glad you brought that up, Adam. This player, I'm going to read off their final dozen games or so, had 98 points this season. No points, 1 assist, no points, no points, 1 assist, no points, no points, no points, 1 assist, no points, 1 assist. That's how he ended the season. I think that's 11 games, no goal. I'm going to go out on a limb and say he's been hurt for a while.
Right. And maybe they're better served with, the guy who's most likely to come out is Nick Robertson. And I think maybe they're better served to keep Nick in the lineup. I think they probably are like, hey, 100% of Nick Robertson is better than 50% of Willie.
Exactly.
And Nick's looked good, by the way. He gets run over all the time.
Yeah, he leads the team in giveaways in the 2 games, which I don't like.
Really?
No. Yeah, that's why they...
Dude, Matthew Nyes getting fucked up per 60.
Oh my God.
Is through the roof.
1,000. Like,
getting your shit destroyed per 90 or whatever.
Yeah.
Holy.
I think it's because the way he plays, too. He's always running, so he's getting smashed.
And he's making a play, though.
Yeah.
He's making a play when he gets destroyed. He did that a few times. There might be a shelf life on that style of play, but he was effective.
To be fair, I think it's a lot of the way his cardio, we talk about that, and that's because he hasn't played NHL hockey. That style of play that he has right now, I think, is a lot from his college days. It's where you used to be the fastest guy on the ice. And when a puck goes in the corner, Matthew Nyes is like, I can get there. I'm going to do it. And he gets there. And he does, usually most of the time, he gets the puck out or something like that. But he also gets smashed. Yeah. And I assume when he was playing in Michigan, right?
No.
No, Boston College.
Boston College, BU?
Was it not Boston? Minnesota?
We got
Matthew Nyes. Yeah, I don't know.
When he was in university.
Let's name just it. Minnesota.
It was Minnesota. There you go. When he was in university at Minnesota, he could probably body anybody out there. He's not afraid, or he's faster than them. And then you get to the NHL level. These are grown men. It's your first real season in the league, and he's still getting smashed by these grown men.
I love these stories. Remember Justin Bourne when he came on our show years and years and years?
Oh, of course. Yeah.
I think that was shortly after you joined us. And, he's used to playing against college players because he played in college. But there was this one guy in college who wasn't a college player. He was something else. And his name was John Scott.
Hey!
And Justin Bourne told this story of John Scott put his stick between his legs, had a hand on either side, and picked him up by the dick, basically. Like just went, picked him up, stick between the legs like a seesaw. Like there is a jump. There's a jump here. And if the Leafs didn't have such a need at wing, maybe Nyes would have played a little bit in the AHL this year.
Yeah, possible. He did have 35 points, so it's pretty valuable.
I'm not saying he's bad. I'm just saying, what would have been better for his development.
Well,
John Scott at Michigan Tech had 101 penalty minutes in 04-05, 100 in 03-04, 82 in his final year in 05-06.
And I don't think any of them are fights, because you wear a full cage in college. So that's a shitload of penalties.
In the NAHL, sorry, 240 penalty minutes for the Chicago Freeze.
Holy shit.
Wow.
That's a lot of penalty minutes.
Yes, it is. Good Lord. Yeah. John Scott, that's a different dude, man.
That's a big boy.
And now
Yeah.
it's a podcast.
6'8".
Adam, do you still own the Justin Bourne Memorial fan?
No, the Justin Bourne Memorial fan was Justin was super hot, and I had a tower fan, and I put it behind him to keep him cool, because my condo just baked in the summertime, and poor Justin was just in there just sweating. But that fan is now gone. It was like a rotating fan, and then it just stopped rotating one day, and it started making noise, and like every time you turn it on, it was like, I'm like, okay, well, I think that's over.
Adam thought he was the sweatiest boy. But he was merely Vegeta.
Yeah.
When Justin Bourne, the Goku of sweat, showed up.
We didn't used to film those episodes, so
No,
we
we
don't
didn't.
have footage of Justin Bourne's sweaty face.
Yeah.
But
In the
he was
puddle on the floor.
he was darn sweaty that day.
That dude lost 9 pounds over the course of a podcast.
I think over the course of a few months, we had him and Frege and Merrick in my condo.
And Richard Petty.
Oh, and Richard Petty. Yeah, Richard
Yeah.
Petty was there. Hey, listen, if the sun is too bright and you're just too damn good looking to show off your eyeballs, Shady Rays is the place for you.
Yes.
It'll keep you hot. Obviously, you're going to look great in your Shady Rays.
I
But
have
also,
two per.
do you have 2 per?
I have 2 per.
Is that because that you use the SDP 50% off deal to get 2 or more pairs of polarized
It
sunglasses?
is actually.
Yeah, there
Yes.
you go. ShadyRays.com. Use that promo code SDP, 50% off 2 or more pairs of polarized sunglasses. Here's the thing. 300,000 people have given this 5 stars. They are durable, they are crystal clear, and they're perfect for all your outdoor adventures. And if you lose them or you sit on them, they'll replace them.
Damn.
I am a big glasses sitter.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's a big dad energy. I feel
Big
like.
dad energy.
Dads love just sitting down on the sunglasses,
Just
and breaking them.
my butt.
Yeah. And
City TV, baby. It's everywhere.
you're tired, you're not thinking straight, you sit on your sunglasses. Now, here's one that I don't understand how people do this, but people do this. Have you ever run over your sunglasses, like left them on the hood of your car and somehow run them over?
No.
Oh no.
My mom did that a couple of times. She's like, oh, I ran over my sunglasses.
That's a
I'm like,
weird
"How is
thing
that
to
possible?"
do once.
I know. A couple of times.
She did that
Damn.
more than once?
Yeah, but it was always early in the morning because she was an early morning, like she'd go to work at like 4.
Damn, that sounds like Marilyn Dennis needs some Shady Rays.
I agree.
I'm a big leave them places. Like I'll leave them at a park on a bench or something. I've left the sunglasses on a golf course. I put them down because it's like, I don't need them for this shot, and I leave them on that tee box. Like I've left a lot of sunglasses a lot of places.
Well, that's why you're foolish, Jesse, because yes, you did need them.
Yeah.
I
wish my wedding ring had that kind of protection, as in
Oh
replacement.
no.
They don't sell those yet.
They don't, but exclusively for SDP listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Head to shadyrays.com and use the code SDP for 50% off 2 or more pairs of polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Anyway, so we talked about Sam, we talked about Nylander. Let's talk about the thing that's driving people absolutely bonkers this morning.
Oh, boy. This was so funny. I already know what you're going to say.
It's Mark Stone.
Mark
Stone
Nailed it.
coming back, scoring the first goal, having
In a minute.
a key play in the defensive zone towards the end of the game where he's sliding and breaks up a play. Vegas wins.
Hey, can I be a medical professional for a second?
Sure.
Spleen looked great.
Well, okay, so, like we did say, hey, it's a lacerated spleen, but I do feel watching him play, I'm like, well, they probably stretched the amount of time he needed to be out.
Well,
Right?
okay,
Right?
so that's not the accusation that I'm seeing out there.
It should be.
What people are saying is, well, did he have an enlarged spleen or a lacerated one? Because those are very different.
He had a
things.
lacerated spleen. It was grade 3. Kelly McCrimmon gave all of the medical details about it because of how much people were talking about it.
That's a crazy thing to lie about.
Yeah, that's because they did it.
No, I know. This is what I'm saying. Like, like, surely, like, listen, if teams are complaining about it, and they are, investigate it. There's a very easy way to find out if he has a lacerated spleen or not. Like, go to a third-party doctor or whatever. But I tend to take the side of people don't lie about the health of their organs.
Yeah. And the third-party doctor thing is, like, I've talked about this before, that's how this process goes. They have to, the NHL's doctors also, when you go on LTIR and it's this high profile and it's like Vegas is doing this again, the NHL doctors are involved in the process.
Oh, really?
So you have the Vegas's doctors who are evaluating Mark Stone and saying, hey, you can play and all this and stuff. But then the NHL's medical staff, they look into the issues and they look at the medical documents and they say, yeah, there's no shenanigans there and we're all good. And Kelly McCrimmon, like I said, walked everybody through this process in his press conference. And yes, could Mark Stone have probably played on Saturday if the series started Saturday? Yeah, that's the game. That's how this thing works. Yeah, you stretch it till Monday so he can play in the game. But did he have a lacerated spleen that was a grade 3 lacerated spleen? Yes, he did. And the recovery time was like 3 to 6 months. They were talking about that. And did they rush him back? Did they get him ready for the playoffs? Of course they did. But that's the game.
Let me run you through some dates, guys. February 14th, 2022, Valentine's Day. What a lovely day. Mark Stone, long-term injury reserve. April 12th, 2022. Activated from long-term injury reserve. That's the start of the playoffs.
They missed the playoffs.
Yeah, that doesn't.
Oh,
doesn't
they
matter.
missed the playoffs. Wow, he was activated at the end of the season.
Yeah.
There you go.
February 11th, 2023. So now we're a year ahead. Injured reserve. February 20th, 2023. Long-term injury reserve. April 18th, 2023. Activated from LTIR.
During that time, he had his second back surgery.
I'm just giving you the dates.
That's
February 2nd, 22nd, 2024, injured reserve. March 4th,
Were you in the room, Jesse? Did you see the knife?
Long-term injury reserve, March 4th, April 22nd, activated from LTIR. So here's where I think we're missing the point. Because I think you guys make a good point. He had his second back surgery. Maybe Mark Stone's just a fucking animal. And this is really impressive. Are we missing the point? The fact that he has come back from back surgery and been effective, the fact that he's come back from a lacerated spleen and scored in the first a minute 23 in when they're on the power play. Maybe Mark Stone's just really awesome.
Yes, there's a reason this man wears the C in Vegas. He is an animal. You're very right about that. The fact that he's coming back after these injuries, he had not played a game with any of his lines with Thomas Hertl. Like, they acquired him while he was out.
Yeah.
They go out there. They look spectacular. He pots a goal. The dude's a beast.
How do I say this? Again, listen to Burke's Law recently, Brian Burke's book. He, over his career, I believe, Adam, you read it as well, so help me. 3 times he successfully sued for libel.
I think so. Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah.
Each time he's like, listen, I just want you to issue a retraction and make a donation to charity. If a fan says, well, I don't believe his spleen was really whatever, it's a fan. It's okay. You know, if we're going to police what every sports fan says, it's going to be a problem. Although Burke did successfully sue a fan for libel. There are some people in hockey media talking wildly reckless about this injury to Mark
They're not
Stone.
gonna sue him. You know how hard it is to win a libel case?
Well,
Pretty hard.
Not that hard if you're Brian Burke.
And you have to prove that you lost money because of it, and you caused you.
That's not true.
Yeah, and
That's
you
not
lost,
true.
and you have to or lost
The damages.
damage reputation.
Damage reputation.
How is Mark Stone's reputation damaged?
Everyone? It's the Vegas Golden Knights who's damaged.
And I don't
whose
think they're suing
reputation is
anybody
damaged.
because I don't think they care.
I'm just saying, people are talking wild about. I don't believe his spleen was hurt.
And Vegas will be like, great, cool,
And
believe
also-
whatever you want. I don't care.
Also,
not up to me.
I'd like the NHL to investigate Vegas once they're done investigating Tampa. You know what I haven't seen Vegas do? Print a bunch of nanny boo boo fuck you. We were 18 million over the cap shirts.
You know, it's
And wear them during the cup parade.
Yep.
You know what's crazy about last year's Cup run with the Las Vegas Golden Knights?
What?
At no point during the entire Cup run last year did they ice a team that was over the cap.
Oh wow.
Actually?
Yep.
Oh, that's cool.
Yep. What the fuck are you complaining about?
Are you serious?
Not one game was the roster on the ice over the 83 it was $82.5 million limit.
Where'd you read
Jesse Granger in The Athletic.
Okay.
Everybody complaining
I
about
will not
this thing.
research. I will just yell into the void. Okay, I will tweet
It
about
wasn't over the cap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know,
There's also 17 teams right now who finished their season with all the bonuses are now added. They are over the cap.
Do it better.
17 of them.
Get good.
What's the
Do it better,
problem?
get good.
Sarah Volley said that at least 6 teams will carry $1 million or more in bonus overage going onto the cap.
Bonus overage.
Yeah, I'm going to get to that later, but that's how, because of the flat cap, the teams they're exploding. Like they really cannot do this.
I thought Edmonton was going to nail it with the Connor Brown stuff and how they figured out their cap throughout the season, but then they ended up in the overages anyways. So whatever.
So really good game between Vegas and Dallas. Like high scoring, but
That should be
mean.
the
But
narrative.
that's going to be a great series. It's going to be just awesome, and nobody will be surprised when either of those two teams wins.
Nope. It's crime against hockey that it's in the first round.
It is. It's wrong, and this is why the division setup sucks. But anyway,
That's where Vegas finished because everyone was hurt.
I know. I just think it's stupid. Now,
Or were they?
I watched the first 10 minutes of the Kings and Oilers game, and
Is that why you didn't watch the last 10 minutes of the Kings-Oilers game?
yeah.
By the way, the Knights and Stars would have faced each other in the regular conference.
Oh, how would they have?
format. Yeah.
Oh, okay,
'cause
fair enough.
They finished 8th. Dallas was 1.
Fair enough. Right.
yeah.
You're right. And you said it correctly. They didn't finish in the second wild card because there's nothing wild about the wild card. It's the 8th seed. It's the mild card. It's the you're lying to me. Stop lying to me. Thank you. Wild card would be 9th and 10th seed. Thank you.
You're talking about Edmonton, LA?
Yes.
That's crazy because that's the 5th seed and the 7th seed.
That's a
Which
stupid,
makes no sense.
Stupid matchup. And Los Angeles, I feel bad for because they're playing. It's like the Leafs going up against the Bruins in the last decade.
They know what they did.
Boy, watching the first period, I was like, Edmonton's going to kill these guys.
Well,
Like they are so much better. And I know that LA scored 4 goals. I'm sorry. Like,
okay.
do you know that there was over 1,000 hats on the ice for Zach Hyman? 1131 were the amount of hats that got thrown on the ice.
I'm surprised that's it. Why not 1132?
They're like Edmonton was exploding.
So, okay, here's a question that I would like to ask you. Oilers kick the Kings' ass.
Yeah.
Game 1.
Game 1.
There's a lot. You got to win 4.
Yeah. Bruins kicked the Leafs' ass in Game 1.
Mm-hmm.
What was the difference, but aside from the fact you're a Leaf fan, what was the difference between how you felt about the Leafs Game 1 versus the Kings Game 1? Or the Bruins versus the Oilers?
Okay, so when I looked at the Kings Game 1, I thought that the Leafs and Bruins, when they were 5-on-5, looked pretty even.
Pretty close. Stupid mistake.
When Edmonton is 5-on-5 with LA, Edmonton's the only team on the ice.
They kill them.
They just kill them. And it's not even because LA is a bad team, because we know they're not. But I think that you look at just, they're overwhelming on offense. Overwhelming. They're so fast. They're so quick. That first Zach Hyman goal, like, you know, the fans just obviously exploded, and it just felt like, oh my God, it's already a dagger in the LA Kings. And they don't quit. Yeah. They don't give up. They looked good at certain points, but I mean,
producer Nick,
what are we doing?
Was at Game 1 in Vancouver, and he was talking about the atmosphere in Western Canada. I know Edmonton and Vancouver are the same, but he was talking about how loud it is out west, and he's like, I don't even have a dog in the fight, but I almost cried.
With Vancouver.
Like just the emotion.
Yeah.
It was overwhelming for him. And Edmonton, that goal horn is special too.
It is.
I really love it. I would hate to play against it.
When they shot Gene Principe midway through the Leafs game, and there's 30,000 people outside of where the Oilers are playing, and the guy with the painted face and these kids and whatever, and it's a beautiful day in Edmonton. It's really beautiful for April. Weird.
Was it? Yeah.
Like sunny and nice, like not what you'd expect for Edmonton in April.
Yeah, it's so sad that in Toronto, like every real fan has been priced out. Like that's the way free market works, I guess. People want to pay this much, corporations want to pay this much for tickets that fans can't get. That sucks.
Well, I go to Maple Leaf Square and there's several thousand fans there in the cold cheering for a team that's not in the building they're in front of.
Mm-hmm.
They're not there. They're in Boston.
Yeah.
The Leafs have lots of real fans. Just a lot of them aren't.
Yeah, the atmosphere at Scotiabank isn't comparable to any atmosphere around the league. It sucks.
The city has also limited how many people can be out there because of safety concerns, and so people do kind of file in and around anyway. But
I checked it out yesterday.
The Oilers built their arena to house that.
Yeah.
And the Leafs were really the first team to do that. To have people out front. I used to go down for the 2013 series against Boston. I went down for 3 or 4 games, and it was all the way back to the Rogers Center.
Yeah, there used to be. Now it's like ticketed. You got to get a pass to do the tailgate thing, but it used to just be like free. There's this. It's on the.
Show up.
It's on the screen. Just show up. Everybody can just crowd on the street, and they had to get rid of all that.
Which I can see why they don't do that anymore.
I
was there for the Game 7 loss meltdown. It was bad.
Maddie has insight. Oh, Maddie, Mike, because you were there.
Yeah. Well, I did the streeters, but I was going to say that like my friends and I, since like I was in first year university, have like always tried to go to the square. And I think like 2 years ago, there was literally like, again, like what you guys said, you had to like pre-register, like you're waiting for tickets for a concert. And it's just insane. It's like, there's literally like what Adam said, there's a maximum capacity. And we tried to get like a reservation for like, I think like 3 games last year, and it never worked out. Like people are on that, like they're going to a Taylor Swift concert. Like it's like it's
it's still that same way.
I got the email this morning from the Leafs saying reserve your tailgate tickets. I get those emails. So
are you part of what is it, the Blue Nation, whatever the email list?
Yes,
newsletter?
I'm on the
the
email list
too.
And occasionally they're like, "Hey, you want to buy season's tickets?" And I'm like, "I sure do."
No, it's not.
Already got them.
It's not buy season tickets. It's register to get on the list to maybe buy.
I am on the list, but I did it 5 years ago, expecting that hopefully by year 20, maybe I can afford it.
That's unbelievable.
I'm putting it out there. I'm dreaming. Because you don't want to be rich and then want the tickets, because then you're totally screwed, right? How are you going to get them?
Right.
You know? So you got to, when you're pre-rich, you got to pre-register.
When you said you don't want to be rich, I'm like, that's not true. Oh, you're not done.
Yeah, no,
Sorry.
I definitely would love to be rich. I want to talk about the Carolina Hurricanes game next. And when people gave me shit when I said that Freddie Anderson is of two goaltenders in the playoffs. He's a tale of two cities. He's either lights out, unbelievable, holy crap, give that man the Vezina right now.
Game 3, Boston 2018.
Or he's the worst goaltender you've ever seen. Like
Every other Boston game.
So bad that you can't, it's unfathomable that they even considered dressing him. And I just want to say, just looking at the shots last night, the New York Islanders had 12 shots last night total. They scored 3 goals on their first 9. That's a Freddie Anderson playoff game for me.
Can I give you the craziest thing I've ever seen? Like
Yeah,
the
please.
craziest stat line I've ever seen. From Tom Galluti. Final shot attempts were 110 Hurricanes, 28 Islanders.
I feel
Holy shit!
there's a bit of a talent gap there, huh?
I would like to change my pick.
Can't do bad. Sorry.
Holy shit!
Wow.
Teuvo
Teravainen broke the dead or the zeros for Carolina midway through the third. But for me, when things really changed, was that Seth Jarvis shot. He slung that thing like it was a lacrosse ball.
What
it
a
was
friggin'
crazy.
animal.
And then 17:45, Sebastian Aho, one of the Carolina Sebastian Aho.
There. By the way, the loser has to change their name.
That's right. Sebastian Aho scores.
You're now Dave Aho.
17:45, and I like this because numbers. 17:54, Jordan Martinook scores, and they take the lead. And then, of course, Gensel gets the last one on the empty net.
The Islanders before last night were 81-0 when having a 3-goal lead in the playoffs.
What, in their history of the franchise?
In the history of the franchise.
I was going to say, like, holy shit.
Yeah, they've never, and like they stopped playing. It was an embarrassing effort from them, and like all credit to the Hurricanes for just keep piling it on. But They just stopped once they got this lead, and it was like midway through the second, and the third period was a disaster. One actual shot on goal from them. They just kind of went to a shell. They couldn't do anything, and it was embarrassing.
We traded Devon Taves. Whoa, man. Holy, what were the shots by period?
I know they had one in
That's
the
crazy.
third,
They had
but-
One in the third.
Yeah.
Freddie stopped it, right?
He did.
Okay.
Yes.
Just that'd be tough.
By the way, the penalty minutes in this game, 83 to 43.
What? That had to be.
It was towards the end.
after
End the game.
Matt Martin was doing a whole bunch of nonsense.
But-
They were so upset that they blew it.
oh,
Dude,
man.
Okay, I know about the Morgan Riley, Ridley Gregg stuff. I get it. After an empty netter cannot just be a free for all.
Mm-hmm.
Like, are any of those guys going to get fined or suspended for
No,
any of that
no,
shit?
no.
No, which means if you don't do what the Islanders did, you're not doing your job. Your job is to try to win a series, and that includes hurting your opponent because it's allowed. They're not going to call you for it.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, they got to start fining or suspending, or this has been my fun idea for a few years, having penalties that carry over. In a playoff series, it makes sense. Regular season, you're like, well, why should another team get an advantage? Because, okay, fine. But in a playoff series, it's very naked what you're trying to do. You're trying to get your pound of flesh ahead of game 3.
Yes.
The penalty should carry over. But they're never going to do that. So punch away. It's not a league, so go ahead.
The Carolina Hurricanes in the series so far have 68.4% of the shot attempts in their two games across
That
their two
seems
games.
low.
It seems low, but it leads any team for any series that's going on. Good. It's not. It's a mismatch if the Islanders just don't capitalize on their limited opportunities, which they did early on. Mm-hmm. And when you have a 3-goal lead, you should be able to hold it. And they should have been 82-0 in their franchise history in having a 3-goal lead. But they stopped playing hockey.
They almost had a perfect regular season's worth.
Right?
Oh, it's crazy.
The shots you're asking for, 7, 4, and 1 were the shots per period from the Islanders throughout the game.
That's dead puck era.
That is 12 total shots in the game. Carolina, on the other hand, had 10, 12, and 17 for a total of 39.
Jesse, bring up block shots if you can.
Block shots, scroll down. Block shots, 36 block shots
by the Islanders.
To 8 for the Hurricanes.
And they still allowed 40 shots. Just 36 of them were blocked on top of that.
Hurricanes
boy.
gave it away 11 times. That's crazy.
They had the puck.
You don't, fair enough.
You got a lot of giveaways 11-2 when you have the puck all the whole time.
To give you an idea of how much they had the damn puck, 11-2 disadvantage in giveaways, but they won the takeaways battle. 6-5. They just had the damn thing the whole time.
They had 83 total penalty minutes. Adam, you mentioned that number, right? And then I think the third period alone, the penalty minutes were 75.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
I love that. Hey, the one place the Islanders did win is power play percentage. They had one power play and they scored on it. That's way better than 1 for 5 for Carolina. So maybe that's what they bring through the next.
The Hurricanes more than tripled them in shots on goal, and one of the Islanders' goals was on the power play.
Mm-hmm.
That is, I'm gonna tell me if I'm off base here, a concern. Just a bit of a concern.
It was fun being able to turn off the Leafs game and then watch this game because it was exceptional hockey, and the 2 goals in 9 seconds is like. It's so backbreaking and demoralizing for the Islanders. You think you stole one in Carolina. You're going back home, UBS Arena. You're tied 1-1. Empty net for the Hurricanes. All you got to do is put one in there, which they had like a couple opportunities at it, but not like the best shot. And then they score one with the empty net. It's all tied. You're like, okay, I'm going to get to overtime here. They score just immediately after game over.
The first round of the NHL playoffs is so alive.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I love everyone's buzzing from the game they just watched. They tune in to the next one and they're like, oh shit, 2 goals in 9 seconds. It's just, there's so much going on.
It went Leafs win. Carolina comes back miraculously. Mark Stone scores.
Dude,
all that happened within like 20 minutes of TV time. It was awesome.
I don't know if you saw on the stream, but Vegas, Drew goes in my ear. He goes, oh, Vegas just scored a minute in. And I jokingly go, oh, who was it? Mark Stone? And a few seconds later, he goes, "Oh my God, it was!"
Yeah.
The Leafs are the first non-home team to win in these playoffs.
Unbelievable.
Andrew Peeke, by the way, of the Boston Bruins, has just been announced is week to week and will not play in Game 3.
I did not see what happened to him. I saw him leave the game.
I didn't either. I was surprised. Trevor Moore had almost took out the knees of Vinny Desharnais.
He's got to get suspended for that.
I haven't seen anything from player safety about that. That was brutal.
So Oilers fans, very long memory for this stuff, and it's hard to deny they come out on the shitty end of a lot of player safety decisions. They highlighted something from the Oilers-Jets series, which was vicious, where someone on the Oilers, I can't remember who, took out the knees of one of the Jets, and they're near identical plays, and it was one game. So,
well, if there isn't anything, what's going to happen is somebody on the Oilers, likely a Corey Perry or an Evander Kane, is going to take Trevor Moore and crush him. They're going to do something to him, because if the league won't, the players will.
I mean, it's pretty obvious what's going on here. It was Vinny Desharnais being hit by a guy half his size. Someone takes out the knees of Connor McDavid. We may never see them again.
Yeah, yeah. I want to talk about tonight's games because we didn't really get the chance to sort of break them down on the previous, because we've been kind of aligned with the Leafs here, but
the majority of them hadn't played yet.
That's right. So we had obviously the Lightning and the Panthers game. Which is this a changing of the guard in Florida officially? I mean, I know it's game 1.
Tampa was in that game.
Nah,
but they were, but Florida outshot them by 10.
Yeah, but they were in that game.
Game 1.
Yeah.
Game 1? Okay.
I saw Tampa get their ass kicked in 22, and then they lost, or rather won.
Okay.
So game 1.
They also have tremendous fight in them, even when they scored with the empty net to get within a goal with some 20 seconds left or whatever. I don't think Tampa's just given up.
Rangers Caps.
Fun.
It's going the way everybody thought, except again, it's game 1, but I feel like maybe I shouldn't have. Maybe this is the 4-0 series.
It's still really hard to do that.
Yeah.
I've seen some lopsided series go at least 5. It's just difficult to envision the Capitals winning the series.
It was I think the worst officiated game so far in these playoffs. On both sides, both teams got away with some egregious hits and some things that were called. I don't think you should call them. It was the Matt Rempe show.
Him scoring right off the bat.
He took a penalty to start the game. They called it charging.
2 minutes for larging.
It's charging. If anything, I think it's boarding because the guy's up against the boards. You shove him into the boards, but I don't think it's charging. Awful penalty. And that's the thing you worry about with the tough guys. You throw him down goes Brown. That's in his playoff manifestos. This tough guy who's going to be an X factor in the series takes an early penalty.
Yep.
It happened immediately with Matt Rempe. But they kill the penalty. They make up for it. He scores the first goal for the Rangers, and they go on to dominate the rest of the way.
His second career NHL goal, I believe.
Wow.
Was it only 2? Yeah.
He had 1 goal in 17 games, so he's now got as many playoff goals as regular season goals.
Yeah, so a huge performance from him, and I think he's the biggest star in New York right now.
Dude, they were cheering every time he was on the ice. Mm-hmm. There was a play, I was watching that game. There was a play where he was literally just the forechecker. Didn't have the puck. He was just attacking. And everyone's like, yeah! There's still, it's something so funny at one of the most iconic sports facilities in the world. And we haven't evolved over the last 2,000 years. It's still just thousands of people going, yeah, big guy! Big guy! Big guy! Do big guy stuff! Let's go!
Guy who averages between 5 and 7 minutes a game, too.
He played 8.
Oh,
that was the thing. It felt like he was out there. If you're watching the game, it felt like every time Matt Rempe's on the ice, it's a moment. And he was only out there for 8. I think it's 8:33 he played.
Dude, Reeves had those moments with the Leafs.
He had them last night and Monday.
Well, yeah,
Saturday.
I'm talking just on home ice, especially. You hear this Rempe was, where it's he didn't even really do anything, but everyone's just big guy.
Yeah.
And Madison Square Garden, Rempe's got them wrapped around his. Well, I was going to say little finger, but nothing about him's little.
CJ was saying that Domi has become the big villain in Boston. They're booing him every time he touches the puck.
Great.
You love to see it. There was a nice little sauce, not as good as Domi's, by Zibanejad to Kreider to close it out. They looked really good that first game.
Oh yeah.
Ovi had 0 shots on goal, which is the last time he did it was during the 2018 run.
Wow.
So
Caps to
bound.
win the cup.
good omen.
Kreider now the all-time leader in Rangers playoff goals, which is bananas.
That's crazy for a franchise that old.
It's
not a
He's
ton
been
of playoff
around so
success.
long, you know.
Yeah.
That's going to be one of those careers that's going to be weird if he doesn't win a cup.
Well,
It feels wrong.
weirder than Lundqvist?
No.
Because Lundqvist at least went to the finals. I don't know if Kreider had.
Kreider did.
He did. Okay.
Yeah.
Go with Lundqvist.
Yeah.
But it's just such a great playoff performer. Just such a good player. Maybe add Panarin to the mix too.
Oh,
And then you look at some of the teams he's been on and the performances he's had. Might be the year.
And then last note from the game because the
sorry.
Leafs connection. Jimmy Vesey, first star of the game, goal and an assist. He looked really good.
Yeah.
Playoff Vesey
I think
came
it's
alive.
kind of vanilla, actually.
He does not look vanilla in New York.
It's so weird going back and looking at the box score for the Avs Winnipeg Jets game. 6 goals in the first, 1 goal in the second, 6 goals in the third. And the great thing is that in the 6-goal periods, they're dead even. 3-3. It's Lowry's goal in the second period that really makes the difference.
Whatever vitamin C, B12, whatever you got to give Justus Annunen to give him to get him healthy enough to play in this series, give it to him. Give all of it to him.
They don't have an NHL goaltender.
They don't. And
On-
Colorado had
comparison.
almost 50 shots, guys, and to Winnipeg's 23.
Yeah, that's not okay. That's not okay. This is why I said, dude, last year, Akira Schmid beat the Rangers.
Yeah.
That shouldn't have happened.
And Akira Schmid bounced out of the league pretty quickly this year.
The earlier you get another guy into the series, I mean, you give Georgiev one more game.
No.
No?
if Annanen's available,
He's not, though.
yeah, that's
So
the thing.
you're looking at Prosvetov.
You can't play a guy who can't play in the NHL.
And they had Holm as the backup for game 1. I'm like, who is this person?
Yeah.
I had heard of them. I don't know how they got him.
No.
I don't
idea.
remember any of that.
I think like it's over for him forever in Colorado if anybody's healthy, but I don't know.
I don't think you can be like, well, it's Prosvetov time.
Maybe. Why
No.
not?
Because, Jesse, what's your favorite thing about Ivan Profs?
His name.
That guy's, yeah, there you go. There you go.
They
that's
are
a fair
the
point.
team of hard
it
to
up.
pronounce goalie names.
Holm?
Nah,
Oh, Georgiev.
Georgi.
Annunen. Yeah, you know what?
Prosvetov.
No,
Those 3 I was going with.
No, you're spinning.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
that's fair. No, if Annunen is good to go for game, I'm going to be silly here and say game 3. You got to go to him, and that's basically your only shot.
I'm looking at the okay. So
I mean, you outplayed the dog shit out of the Jets on their home ice.
yeah,
That's got to be something to feel good about.
so Georgiev 302 goals against average, 897 save percentage in 63 games. Prostatov 316, 895. Annunen 225, 928, and he only played 14 games, but
He was good.
He's been decent.
He was good.
ooh boy.
The second he's well enough to do so, you got to
Yeah.
play him.
The last one I want to bring up, and I actually got to do the stream for this, was Nashville, Vancouver, which I'll be honest with you, didn't
Team won.
didn't really pick up until the third when things got a little bit more exciting. It would, I thought Lindholm's goal in the second period was cool, but really for the fans, what was awesome is that like they've had this storybook year. And my whole thing was like, I don't want you to have to wake up from it because I know what it's like as a Leaf fan to be absolute dog shit the year before and then surprise everybody, make the playoffs. And they won the division.
Yeah.
And then to lose game 1 would have been just air out of the balloon. And the Leafs were so good at letting the air out of the balloon. I was so thrilled when Suter and Dakota Joshua got 2. When Suter tied it up, it was like, okay, we're in this. And that third period, Nashville had really forced Vancouver to play their game. Low shots. Like I think that, the total shots all night, 22 for Nashville, 21 for Vancouver.
Boo.
That's a Nashville game.
Boo.
But in the third period, Vancouver figured it out. And I hope that they continue to figure it out and put this away quickly.
You know what it reminds me of a little bit? And again, it was in the bubble, so a lot of people forget. Blue Jackets beat the Leafs in their qualifying round. Tampa falls wherever they do as the division winner. Columbus plays Tampa for the second consecutive year. What happened the previous year? Columbus swept the President's Trophy winning Lightning. What happens game 1 of the bubble series? Do you remember?
No.
5 overtimes.
5
overtimes. It was an 8-period game. Korpisalo made over 70 saves in a loss. And the way CJ talks about that is if the Blue Jackets win that game, I think Tampa ended up sweeping them, but if the Blue Jackets win that game, who knows? If Nashville wins game 1, like just because of the vibes, just the doubt, you get swept, you lose that game 1, Tampa may never win that 2020 Cup. If Vancouver loses this game 1 on home ice after all that anticipation, in my eyes, their chances of winning that series plummets into the Earth's crust. But they won it. So maybe they ride the rocket.
What did you think of Quinn Hughes' defensive play, Adam?
I thought it was spectacular, Jesse.
Oh, yeah?
It actually was great.
He's
It was better. It was better. It was
no Luke.
Better than you think of his play of recent?
I think that he's been accused by certain people of being soft in his own end, but I thought that he wasn't very,
soft.
very good. No, he wasn't. And the other thing about Quinn Hughes is he doesn't have to be hard because he's so fast, it doesn't matter. The one thing I loved about Vancouver's game, and this is what drives me bonkers about the freaking Leafs, and I've talked about this forever, Vancouver breaks out quickly. It's bang, 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 gone, other end. When they set up for a power play, again, 1, 2, 3 in the offensive zone. The Leafs are like, let me back pass it. Oh, are you coming on the ice? Let me give you some puck time. I'm going to back pass it. I'm going to let the other team get set up, and then we'll figure it out. Vancouver knew, with Nashville being a very strong defensive team, that they can't let them get set up. If you let them get set up, Nashville's going to clog the neutral zone. And I thought that's what they were trying to do going into the third period, going up 1. Vancouver just didn't let it happen. I was really, I thought Rick Tocchet had them ready to go. The fans were nuts. It was great. And Nick almost cried. Nick Andrade almost cried.
I want to give a shout out to the game's number 1 star, the 128th overall pick of the 2014 draft, Dakota Joshua. Traded for nothing by 2 different teams. Traded from the Toronto Maple Leafs to the St. Louis Blues for future considerations. And I thought he was traded to the Canucks, but apparently the Blues just let him walk. And here he is breaking out basically in almost 10 years after he was drafted. Almost 10 years. He had a good season last year with 11 goals. I love this era of the NHL. I feel like we're seeing this more and more, where guys who would be career AHL or European guys are sticking around and all of a sudden making the NHL in like how old is this guy? He's going to be 28 in May.
Yep.
So
Guys-
Auston Matthews.
Yeah. He was drafted 2 years before Auston Matthews.
Yeah.
This was the William Nylander draft. Who went first over? Oh, Aaron Ekblad went first.
Who's
overall.
like a grizzled vet and has been around forever.
Like, I'm trying to did anyone drafted after Dakota Joshua have like an interesting career? The best player I've found so far is Anders Bjork. Nolan Vesey, the less famous brother of Jimmy. Sammy Blais.
Oh, there you go.
Victor Olofsson of the Sabres. There's one. Oh, my goodness. Damn, the Leafs drafted so well in 2014. Pierre Engvall.
Hey.
The Leafs got bloody Dakota Joshua in the 5th round and Pierre Engvall in the 7th.
And Engvall was the guy they wanted to hang on to.
Fumbled it.
Yeah, Engvall, who had an assist.
I think he did.
Against the Hurricanes.
Yeah.
Eng Vegas, baby.
Night. Yeah.
Yeah, Dakota Joshua, 6'3", 206 pounds. Who wants that, you know?
How's Mikheyev?
He's, you know what?
Apparently playing pretty good.
Not a bad 4th line.
Mm-hmm.
Not a bad 4th line with Teddy Bluger. I was like, okay, I'm impressed. If you got Mikheyev, listen, I'm sure it's not ideal that they're paying a 4th liner that kind of money.
Adam,
But
You did it wrong.
what?
Every time you say Teddy Bluger, you have to say his
You say it.
place of birth. Teddy Bluger from Riga, Latvia.
And Phil Di Giuseppe,
Oh,
who did get a bad penalty. And I thought Rick Tocchet, I'm like, Rick Tocchet's going to sit this guy for a period. And because it was such a bad penalty. And he didn't put him out there. And Di Giuseppe had a really good game after.
What was your favorite part of the stream?
Favorite part of the stream.
Yeah. Favorite chat.
Favorite chat?
Yeah.
Well, we had lots of talks. We did a little history corner in the first intermission.
On what?
We did it on George Vancouver, the guy who found Vancouver and took it away from
There is a man
George Vancouver.
who existed whose name is George Vancouver.
That's right.
who made that up?
That sounds like a bit.
It's a real guy.
By the way, as long as we're sticking to names, I thought.
Steve's doing something else. What are you doing?
No, trust me.
I know
Trust
that was
me.
funny, but what about this?
Trust me.
I trust you.
I thought Phil Di Giuseppe was an Alan Walsh client.
Uh-huh.
I don't know who I'm thinking of. Phil Di Giuseppe, his agent is Paul Capizano.
Oh, there you go. Keep it in the family.
For the most Italian shit I've ever heard in my entire life.
They all go to Bada Bing.
And they go to Bada Bings and they've never even heard of George Vancouver.
Yes, that's right.
Never
George
even
Vancouver
heard of him.
came in and took Vancouver and that area, like Vancouver, Seattle area.
The whole place?
Well, they would just put a flag in the earth and be like, this is ours now. And they took it from the Spanish. That's right. People forget this. The Spanish Empire went as high as Vancouver at one point. And they had to sail all the way. Yeah.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah. Could have been speaking Espanol in Vancouver, but no. George Vancouver went as far as Hawaii as well and traded with the populations there.
Didn't he change his name?
What do you mean?
Oh, he could have been like Frankie Hawaii or something like
No,
that.
he named Vancouver Island.
No.
It wasn't named Vancouver Island, and he was like, "Hey, I found this. Now I'm naming myself after it." It was the other
so
way
he's
around.
not George Hawaii.
No, he's not George Hawaii.
Oh. How did he get to Hawaii? Boat?
Boat in the age of sail
Was he surprised when he discovered George Street?
in
In Vancouver.
Isn't there a George Street
don't
in
know.
Vancouver? Or no, wait.
That's
wrong,
Newfoundland.
Wrong coast. That's
Yeah.
Newfoundland.
So
Like-
what
No, I was
year
trying.
is
I got
this?
confused. Places I've drank.
What year is this?
1792.
And he boated from
Sailed. Yeah.
He boated
Don't interrupt, Jesse.
from Vancouver to Hawaii and lived.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yes.
That is
And
actually nuts.
Like that's insane.
they it used to be if you were on voyages that long, that there wouldn't be enough vitamin C on board and you'd get scurvy. So
I know this because of TikTok.
what they used to do was they would have the thing that would give you vitamin D is limes. So they would drink lime juice, and that would be, or vitamin C, excuse me, and that would be how you prevented scurvy. And
but
that's
the
what
water would go bad.
yeah, well, the
So
lime
they-
preserved it.
Also, the rum that they put in the water.
Yes, that too.
So it was water, rum, and lime.
That's right, and so that's why Americans
That sounds
called
like a great drink.
British limeys. They used to call them limeys because
That-
that's how they kept their teeth in their skull.
I know that because there's a story in my book that is not hockey or zoo related.
I don't remember that.
Because my grandpa was in a battle in the war and yada yada yada. He got wounded and he was discovered by Americans, and they go, "We got a limey."
Oh,
Over here.
okay.
And then they tried to fix up his wound, and he misunderstood them. He thought they said, we're going to cut off his leg. And so he started to fist fight all the people who were trying to help him. And they said, oh, no, you idiot, we're going to cut off your pants. And he went, oh, okay.
It's good to know where the passion comes from.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
So then George Vancouver goes to Hawaii, and regardless of if there's people there or not,
Yeah.
he gets to claim it.
No, because Hawaii was never fully claimed until the Americans did later. It was
So he didn't say this.
he
is
didn't
my
claim it.
land
I don't
now.
believe. Like I don't think it was ever a British possession. No.
Oh, okay.
They showed up. They did some trading, but I don't think. I think they were looking for like,
Is that a thing Brits did? It taking over stuff?
yeah, a lot of that.
I think it's just
They shouldn't have. Hot take.
it's a little.
Hot take.
I don't think history should have went where you could just go find land where people might still be living and be like, this is ours
yeah,
now.
we've claimed this for the king.
I'm gonna go next door.
You guys agree, right?
I'm gonna say this house is mine. They're gonna be like, I live here. I'm like, no, I discovered it.
That's
Claim
right.
this for the king. Pause. Who's the king?
Who's that?
What is that? Yeah.
Just sign your name here. It'll all be fine.
Pause. What is this? It's a pen. Okay.
No, how does that work?
Yeah. How does?
No, why are you dipping that feather in that black liquid? That's what
Yeah.
it would have been, right?
Yeah. I'm gonna need you to start it. Who the fuck? What is going on?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. So anyway, we did a little history corner on that, and
Did we?
Yeah. I can't narrate the games like Steve does because Steve, like you almost do play-by-play sometimes.
So good. I'm so good.
So I don't do that. So I sit there and I chat. So we just have a chat.
No. It's good. It is good. I think it would be shitty if the two of us did identical streams.
Well, I can't be you. I'm me.
Well, you're not the
I
same
can't be
people.
you.
I think that'd be weird.
Yeah, it would be weird if I was out there trying to be Steve, trying to get all passionate. Like people see right through that. I'm just going to be like, you know what? I'm cheering for Vancouver in this series. Nashville, evil. One of the most likable cities. One of the most likable teams this year. No, evil. Screw them. Go Vancouver. And it's actually been really fun. And it is kind of weird being in here at like 1 a.m. though.
More like snot chicken because that's what it tastes like.
Snot chicken.
Yeah, instead of hot chicken.
Oh, hey, all right.
Fucking nailed it.
Let's do
No, he
Bodied.
didn't.
let's do a quick. I just want to tell you that there are the Sabres are bringing back Lindy Ruff, because what's old is new again. I don't know how. I was trying to think about it this morning. I'm like, how does his style fit what they want? I don't know.
Lindy Ruff looked like he was way above his head in New Jersey the last year, and that's the guy you want to bring in to revamp your team. Like, it didn't make sense to me.
I am going to get a huge kick out of Lindy Ruff riding what could be another generational goalie to being in Buffalo for another 10 years. Someone said, and because he played for the Sabres as well, Lindy Ruff has been an employee of the Buffalo Sabres for every decade they've existed as a hockey team.
That's cool.
He was a player for them in, I think, the 70s and 80s. He coached them in the 90s and in the 2000s, 2010s, and now the 2020s.
Yeah.
He might be the longest tenured employee if you cumulative.
Yes, absolutely.
He should be the logo.
Yep. So that Frank Saravalli has a story today in Daily Faceoff of the 13 teams that are impacted for overage, and as I told you, 6 of them is over $1 million. So
The hot topics now.
well, I think
let's go over the cap overages.
the overages are kind of nuts. So
Oh yeah.
So Carolina-
real nuts, Adam. Tell us $3 million over.
Carolina's 50 grand. Yeah, what are you hating on this?
This is just huge, like spicy topic.
So
Let's
Carolina,
go to the cap overages for next season.
Carolina is 50 grand over.
Playoffs.
Florida could be $500,000 over if they make it to the Stanley Cup final because Kyle Okposo gets a Stanley Cup final bonus.
You hear that? That's crazy.
Yeah.
There you go.
Bruins 50 grand over. Flyers $250,000. Minnesota 425,000. Rangers $500,000. Ottawa $850,000. That sucks.
Well, they were really good, though.
Montreal $1 million over.
What?
New Jersey $1.5 million over.
How?
Los Angeles $1.8 million over. Washington $2.25 million over. Dallas $2.595, and the Edmonton Oilers are, as of now, I believe, $3.5 million over. But Corey Perry can earn an additional $50,000 for advancing to the conference final and the Stanley Cup final. So it could be $100,000 more. What this means for Edmonton is the cap goes up for everybody next year except for them.
Oh,
Because it's going to go up $3.5-4 million. Edmonton has spent that.
Well,
but if they win the cup, who cares?
good topic. Unfortunate Jesse didn't care.
Yeah, I don't know why he doesn't care. I think that's interesting.
What do you want me to say about it?
The amount of bad teams who are $1 million bucks in the hole for next year is, I think, interesting. Like
All right.
Montreal, Ottawa, New Jersey.
I don't know what I do with this. I don't know what I do with this information.
I just thought it was interesting. I guess it's not.
In what way?
I think it's interesting because
Defend your topic choice, Adam.
I think it's very interesting because it goes to show that the NHL is raising the salary cap right around the time it actually starts to hurt the teams. Doesn't matter that it hurt the players, right? But now they're like, oh, well, this is impacting the team. We better bring it up. And by the way, the HRR, the hockey-related revenue that they use to calculate the cap, has not been calculated fully for 2022 yet.
I feel how painful this is.
So we don't know.
Like, I actually feel it radiating.
Well, I think it matters. I think it matters how much your team can spend.
No.
The cap, my point is, the cap
Sign
should
whoever you
probably
want.
be going up more next year.
Sign whoever you want. Doesn't matter.
Oh, it actually doesn't.
Vegas, Tampa, Vegas. I don't know why I'm making that wah Tavares.
All right. Well, let's do the press
I
conference
don't think
then.
we have time to.
Oh, fine.
We have to end the show.
Yeah. You know what? Fuck it. I thought it was interesting. Okay.
Because I saw that this morning. The reason I'm pooping on it is because I saw that and I was like, it's the middle of the playoffs. Like, I know. It's round 1 of the playoffs. I'm gonna read this thing on cap overages. I guess I'll check it out. But I was like, there's so much playoffs narratives. I'm jacked up on that. I don't want to read about cap shenanigans.
Okay.
So that's why that's where that opinion came
Fair enough. Fair
So,
enough.
Anyways.
All right. You guys ready? We're going to wrap it up. We're going to record VIP next. Get ready. You're not done yet, Steve.
Adam.
You're not fucking done yet.
We didn't do Morello and Bettman.
No, we didn't have time. We didn't have time. We had to do cap overages.
There.
We had to do cap overages. We had to. Had to.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake. Connection complete.